I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit Chat. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, before I head to the gym, we're going to listen to a Dave Ramsey video that just played about a month ago. It's called Both of You Should Have Your Tail Kicked. Ooh, that's harsh language from Mr. Ramsey. All right, so let's go ahead and play this. Minimize the screen down. Whee! Let's do it.
Allie is with us. Allie's in St. Louis. Hi, Allie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, how are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Yeah, I'm just calling. I am a physical therapist here in St. Louis. I've been out of school for about a year now, but I've been in a residence
She's going awfully fast. Okay, she's a physical therapist. Sometimes if these videos are short, I just played at normal speed. So she's a physical therapist.
out of school for about a year now, but I've been in a residency program, so I've been able to defer my loans.
Okay, so she's a physical therapist, been out of school for a year. She's in residency and she's been able to defer her loans. And as we all know, deferring loans means she doesn't have to pay on them until she's actually done with school. Don't don't get deferment confused with forbearance. Forbearance is after you're done with school and you can't pay the bill and you ask to put your loans on forbearance. But keep in mind, forbearance also has interest accruing. Deferment is while you're in school. All right.
And last night I really sat down and figured out that I need to start tackling these things. So I've got about 112,000 in my name from undergrad and also from graduate PT school. And then my parents also have about 100,000 in their name that they took out to help me get through undergrad.
How much is physical therapy school? She has over 100,000, and then her parents had to kick in another 100,000. I've said it in prior videos, and I will say it again. Do you want to buy a house that you cannot live in? How come PT, I believe, yeah, she said physical therapy. $250,000 to be a physical therapist? Whew. I mean, really, do you want to buy the house that you can physically move your stuff in, or do you want to buy a house that you can't live in?
So I'm just kind of curious the best way to tackle these and get out of debt as quickly as possible.
And this is why we have student loan issues. Everybody, myself included, I am no angel here. Everybody's running up them student loan debts like it's free chocolate chip cookies, okay? And we figure we'll count the chocolate chips we ate afterwards. Until then, we're just going to keep eating the cookies or something like that. We say afterwards, well, now I'll figure it out. Think about that. That is not logical. Shouldn't we, that's like putting the cart before the horse. Shouldn't we figure it out before? Because that's what's happening is people are going, oh, I'm going to follow my dreams. I'll figure out the math afterwards. And then they realize they're $200,000 in debt, okay? And they did not comprehend that approximately for each $100,000 it's going to be $1,000, probably more, to keep up on the interest and dip into the principal. They don't realize that this is an amortized loan, so you may be paying $1,000 to find that 800 of it goes to interest for several years as it works its way down. And then you're in shock because you go, well, I've paid on my loan for 10 years and the balance hasn't even gone down. That's because it's an amortized loan. Ask any homeowner who's paid on their home for 10 years how much the balance has gone down in relation to how much interest they've paid for a standard, say 30-year mortgage or even a 15-year mortgage. Okay? People call in afterwards and say, well, now I want to figure it out. And that's when they get into trouble because they realize the job that they entered, not the degree, the job that they entered isn't enough to pay $2,000 for interest plus housing, insurance, taxes, cost of living, and all of that. We have got to change the societal attitude on thinking we should look at the bill after it's been run up and not before. This is how people get into $400,000 debts that they can't get rid of, and you can't file bankrupt. We only do it afterwards.
Is this your only debt, or do you have other types of debt to go along with it?
This is the only debt I have.
Okay.
Again, I have to chuckle when people go, oh, well, this is my only debt. Yep, I'm completely debt free except for my $110,000 student loan. which I've not mathematically calculated on how to pay off, which is why I got in trouble with my 110,000.
Well, what I would do if I were in your shoes is I'm glad that you're looking at this and going, hey, I got to pay this off. I can't wait around for somebody else to do it for me. So that's good. A lot of times these loans, they're broken into lots of smaller loans. Are yours, are they like that?
Yes, mine are. Yeah, I've got altogether they're about 20 just small loans.
Okay.
Jeez. 20 baby loans. Now you wonder why it's nearly impossible to get rid of student debt. Nearly impossible, especially when you get up into these six-figure brackets. And I don't care if it's six figures that you've took out 100,000 or more, or if in my case you started at 80,000, 85,000, and it worked its way up to six figures over 18 years.
So assuming that the Parent Plus loans were like, it was decided that you're the one paying them back. I'm assuming that's the case, right? Even though they took the loan out?
Well, we haven't really had that conversation yet, so that's something.
See, there's the problem, folks. There's your problem. Everybody's taking on money that nobody's actually figured out. What happened? I can tell you this, as a physical therapist, she's not going to make enough, at least anytime soon, if ever, to pay off $250,000 in student loans, plus her own cost of living. Maybe she can do it if she stays at home and her parents literally pay for everything for years. She's not going to make enough. I'm not even a physical therapist, and I can pretty much assume that. So they haven't even had the discussion. Parents, don't take out loans for your kids if you have not had a discussion on who's going to pay it back. Don't take out loans for your kids if it's going to put you in retirement harm, meaning you will not be able to save for retirement. Don't take loans out for your kids because you feel guilty because you got divorced or their parent passed away, or you feel guilty because just out of guilt in general. Don't take out loans and put yourself in financial harm. Don't do it. And the other thing with parents they need to realize is it is very, very hard to transfer a Parent Plus loan over to your child's name after they graduate. I hate Parent Plus loans. I absolutely hate them. They're predatory. I don't like them. But you'll get parents who will take out these loans and go, well, my child will just go ahead and we'll just have it transferred over to my child's name after my baby girl or baby boy graduates. It's not going to be easy to do because that child must show that they don't need the loan, which in that case, you probably didn't need to sign up for a Parent Plus loan to begin with. It is next to impossible. You see, the reason the banks want the Parent Plus loan with you is you have the assets. You have the retirement account they can withdraw from if you do not pay. You have your Social Security they can withdraw from. Oh yes, in retirement if you do not pay. You have property that they can lien. You have cars that they can take. You see, the bank's not dumb. The bank knows the parents are the ones with the assets. Okay? At 99.9. So they'll give it to the parent happily, happily, happily. They will hand the loan to the parent. Parents need to realize it is very difficult to transfer that loan over to their child after they graduate because the bank's not dumb. It is not in the parent's interest. I mean, it's not in the bank's interest to take it from a parent that has all these assets to take it to a 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kid that has nothing. They've not even had the discussion yet. I wish I could say that we're having to reach real hard and really deep into the abyss to find where the problem is. The problem is surface. Okay, the problem is all on the surface. This is not hard to find. So her parents have taken out 100,000 plus loan and they haven't even had a discussion with their daughters who's going to pay it. Bad mistake. And again, and I've said it before, and I'll say it 100 times, parents should not give money to their kids with the expectation of it ever being paid back. Because trust me, if they ever expect to be paid back, I owe my parents, so much money, I'd be broke for forever. Okay, it's not possible for me to pay back everything they've put into me. Impossible. I cannot do it. Okay, parents should never take out money with the expectation that their student, child, okay, adult or not, is going to be able to pay them back.
something that I need to do with my parents. So yeah, the 112,000 are all in my name, and then the 100,000 of Parent Plus loans.
What
are
makes you
all
think?
in-
Jeez. Oh, just hearing it is, I know we heard it just a minute ago, people, but it's just daunting. It's just daunting. $250,000 of debt that's not really even been discussed. What are the odds? $250,000. She's going to be able to pay that as a PT, physical therapist, plus her cost of living. And the other thing we have to remember when these parents took out the Parent Plus loans, the child's trying to build their life. The child is not interested in going to college and then working with you to try to pay back, their $100,000 loan. And she's got more than that, plus the parents' loan. The poor decisions. Do we see, though, it's not that hard to find it? The hard part is telling someone you may have to alter your dream a little bit, maybe even a lot, to save yourself financially.
You're liable for the Parent Plus loans. You didn't have a discussion when you took them out? They said, we'll take these out, but you got to pay them. That wasn't a conversation early?
The conversation that we've had is we'll help you with this, but we haven't had a fully sit-down conversation to decide what exactly does that mean. So
that has to be done before the parents take out the loan. This is on the parent. Oh, I do get some snaps because Dave Ramsey did agree we should have discussion. So snaps. Okay, I get snaps on that, all right? This is the fault of the parent. The parent is supposed to know that we should have this discussion. She legally doesn't have to pay a dime on it. She legally doesn't have to pay a single dime. She can walk away from that portion. That is the fault of her parents. And I'm going to blame that 100%. That's the fault of her parents. Her parents should have done a better decision in that. I'm not being mean, but remember, this is about reality. This is about avoiding how do we make dumb mistakes that get us in huge debt problems. Because let's think about it. We now know, because I've done my research, okay, for about every 100,000, it's going to be a grant. I'm actually even going to say it's going to be over a grant, about 1,100, okay, approximately, okay, for every 100,000 of a student loan taken out. And we know that these loans accrue interest. Parent Plus accrues interest the day they cut that check. There is no deferment. And don't forget, forbearance is limited. That's how many times you can stop the student loan during the 10, 20-year payback. Forbearance is limited. You can't just go on it for forever and ever. Well, you can if you go back to school, and then that just keeps accruing more interest. It's a vicious cycle.
That is like top
Right.
priority on
So
my
your
agenda
parents are
right
not
now.
wealthy.
Not necessarily. Middle class.
No. I don't even think it should be not necessarily. The answer is no. If your parents are taking out over $100,000 to finance you being a physical therapist, and you're having to take out $100,000, basically between your household, you have $250,000. I think we can clearly just simply say, no, they are not wealthy. Don't try to sugarcoat it. We got to do less sugarcoating, folks, if we're going to get ourselves out of debt. We cannot sugarcoat. We just can't. I think you can talk to people who are debt free. Ask them if they sugarcoat it. Did they make it seem like it was just not so bad? Like maybe it was kind of okay? Or did they just simply say, hey, nope, my bills were paid late. Not, well, I paid part of it and part of it I didn't. We can't sugarcoat it. Her parents are not wealthy. They've got $250,000 in student loan debt in this household.
Class.
Okay.
They do okay, but
I
not
wasn't putting them down. I'm just, if they got $10 million in the bank, they wouldn't have done this.
Well, some
More snaps. More, I'm on a roll. Snaps for me. Snaps for me. Okay? Exactly.
people also
Right,
think
right.
that me helping you is I'll co-sign since you can't sign on your own. So
And we all know how I feel about co-signing. My rule is very simple. I do not co-sign anything for anyone. Because once I've co-signed, I take away my power to help you. Think about that. Okay? People go, oh, well, it's selfish. You won't co-sign. Nah, nah, nah. My not co-signing saves us both. First off, they can't chase after me because I am not legally attached to your bill. Because they cannot chase after me, I don't have to risk about them tapping into my checking account and garnishing either paychecks, checking accounts, whatever. I hold the power to be able to assist you. Did you see that part? Do you see that part? I can help you more by not co-signing. One, it forces me to stay in my budget. It forces me to stay in my budget. I am not going to take out more than what I make. But it allows me to take my budget and to adjust it. I can actually adjust my budget without the fear of the car company, student loan company, cell phone company coming after me because I get paid on the 20th and they want payment on the 18th, which has me running my ass to Amscot to try to keep a late fee from occurring. Do you see the problem? Refusing to co-sign for someone should not ever be mistaken as refusing to help them. As parents, they could have helped her much more by not co-signing. And then people go, but then she wouldn't have been able to go to that school. That's right. That's right. Got to make other plans. See, you have to be willing to adjust your plans. I am much more powerful, not co-signing. Don't mistake that for I won't help. If we have that type of relationship where my assistance is appropriate and warranted, okay, I am much more powerful if you allow me to stay within my budget. No, not if you allow me. I allow me, okay, because I am in control of my finances. All right, you can't be forced to give up your financial control unless you voluntarily release it. Okay, and by me staying in control of my finances, I am actually more able to help a loved one, and I have in the past. Okay, and I've had loved ones help me, when we were in some of our younger and rough days. And we did it without ever having to co-sign anything. We were much more powerful. So I'm speaking from experience, as always.
So they might have just thought by co-signing that was it, but there's a lot of money on the table here. So I would have that conversation and find out.
Isn't that just amazing? Gone through school, $250,000, and now we're going to have the discussion. Oh, I know I said it, but sometimes it's just amazing.
Allie, did you finish residency yet?
No, she said
Yes, I finished
Oh.
up now. So
What do you
I'm
make
about to
now?
Start.
no. I was wrong on that.
80?
So let's see. This past year during my residency
No, what
year,
will
I
you
made
make
about
this year? 80?
51.
This coming year?
This year I'll make 71,000.
71. Okay.
Okay, and this video is only a month ago, so she'll make 71. So she is about, maybe with my 10-hour week part-time job and my full-time job, she's about maybe $6,000-7,000 a year more than I am, and I could not pay off a $100,000 loan, much less $250,000.
Plus, you can pick up some OT, if not with that firm, with whatever, emergency room or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
We also have to remember something, folks. If picking up a second job solved all the student loan problems, and all these people working 2-3 jobs shouldn't be having a problem paying off their student loan. So that begs the question, why do people still have problems? Because paying off a student loan is never as easy as just even a second job. There comes, in my opinion, a dollar break point where it's just not easy to do. And from my experience, once you start hitting, I'm going to say once you start hitting above about 40, 50,000, and certainly when you hit the 100 grand, I think the second job is just, not saying it doesn't have value, but people give it too much credit. People give the second job too much credit. If the second job were that simple to pay off these huge debts, I'm not talking $20,000, $30,000 debt. I'm talking when you're 80, 90, 100,000 plus in debt. The better alternative is don't get into that debt in the first place. I know it's always easier said than done, but
Yeah.
So we can use this degree to earn another 20, and you work your tail end off, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Oh, I know so.
I think another 20 may be high. She's already got her full-time job. If you're talking after taxes, look, I'm just saying from my life experience, okay, having held almost two part-time jobs. I mean, excuse me, a full-time job and a solidly part-time job at additional 20, 25 hours a week. I also could tell you that at my peak in my 20s, I was working 80 hours a week. And let me tell you, I got sick as a dog working 80 hours a week. There is a health toll when you start working so many hours. It's easy to just say, well, just keep slamming on the hours, you'll have it paid off. No, it's never that easy.
So I've done a
That's
bunch.
the case.
Done a bunch with PTs. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I would just list these debts smallest to largest. I would, you got to have this conversation with your parents. At the same time,
Right.
your name is your name on it at all?
No, not on Parent Plus loans.
Okay,
No.
so I would start with the 112
Yes.
and I would list those from smallest to largest. I'd just go crazy, go ham on those. And then this Parent Plus thing, here's the thing. Their name is on it. Your name is not on it. So
Exactly.
you need to speak with them. It's not going to blow up your credit if this is kind of an ongoing, conversation. It's not going to stop you from doing what you need to do.
But sure as hell's gonna make Thanksgiving and Christmas difficult. Sitting around the coffee table, sitting around the dinner table. Okay? It's gonna make every trip and vacation and perk that she buys difficult possibly for her parents to look at, going, you owe us $100,000. How come you're going off to the mall? Why are you going on this trip? This should have been discussed before. This though, it's the parents' fault. The parents put themselves in this situation. As far as the Parent Plus loan portion.
But that's going to be tough, Dave, because they might have interpreted two different sides of
Yeah,
this
it's
thing.
just whatever comes out. I mean, if you decide you're going to pay it, then you got $212,000, and you make 90 with
Yeah.
overtime and extra.
No. It's not going to be that easy. Don't even have to play that whole sentence. It's not going to be that easy. Okay, I want you guys to imagine you just bought a piece of property, $212,000. You going to tell me you're going to pay that off in 4 years? 5 years? There's a reason people take out 30-year mortgages, 15-year mortgages. There's a reason. Because if paying off $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 were that easy, we'd all do it. We would all do it. It's easy listening to a conversation to get fooled and think $250,000 isn't that much. It's a hell of a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And it's money that has to go on top of what you already have to deal with. There's a reason when people buy a $250,000 home, they're taking out a mortgage that's longer than 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years. They're taking out mortgages are 15, 20, 25, 30 years. Do not be fooled at the casualness of this conversation to think that $250,000 is that easy to pay off. It's not.
Jobs, and you're single, and you live on nothing like a graduate student, and so we throw 50 a year at it, and in 4 years you're done.
Yeah.
So every single person that bought a $200,000 piece of property should be able to pay it off in 4 years, right? I no disrespect to, Ramsey and his fine crew, because I love this show. But this is an area I really just, you have to think of it. I think student loans shouldn't be called student loans even. Okay? I think it should be called alternative credit card debt. Okay? How many people buy a $200,000 house when they were selling at $200,000 and could pay it off in 3, 4, 5 years? Do not be fooled. You're either buying a piece of property or you are buying a degree. Okay? One you can live in, the other you cannot. If you were to buy a piece of property, would you go to the bank and say, I want it paid off in 4 years? No. You were to buy a house, you'd be thrilled because you walked away with maybe a 15, 20-year mortgage. They're talking about it in a way that is so casual that I worry that someone who is not experienced with student loan debt is going to think this is really easy to pay off. No, it's not.
or in
Right.
2 years you're done if mom and dad pick up the Parent Plus, but you're probably picking up at least some of it. It sounds like in this
Yeah.
conversation.
And now we're down to 2 years to pay it off. So I go out and I buy a piece of property for $225,000 with interest. All right, there's interest on this. And I bet that I can have that property paid off in 24 payments. Unlikely. We have to stop looking at student loans like it is some special category that somehow or another it's easier to pay off than all the other loans. Because if that were the case, then we wouldn't in this country have over $1 trillion in student loan debt. If 200,000, no, let's call it for what it is, $250,000. If $250,000 student loan debt with interest on an amortized loan could be knocked out in 1-2 years, we would have half the country flipping out that they didn't get their $10,000-$20,000 loan forgiveness. We need to see it for what it really is. It is a credit card bill with the name Sally Mae written on the top. If every Tom, Dick, and Harry could pay their $100,000 student loan off in 2-3 years, $10,000 ought to be paid off in about a month.
I would guess so.
Yeah, you
and
don't have a legal
to be frank,
obligation.
I don't really feel.
Yeah. Both of
Okay.
you should have your tail kicked for not having a clear understanding before you take out $100,000 worth of loans and don't
That's
know
true.
how they're going to get paid.
Snaps for me, snaps.
But now that that's done, you got to drive to clarity and decide what you're going to do or what you should do.
Why are cars repossessed? Why are vehicles so frequently repossessed? A vehicle that costs $40,000. Dollars are dollars are dollars. It doesn't matter where that dollar is allocated as far as the fact that it's a dollar. Okay? Do not be fooled by the casualness of this. Cars are repossessed because people can't pay their $30,000, $40,000 car note. They try to negotiate. They can't get it done. All right?
Legally, you owe nothing.
I'd at least try to go 50-50 though.
Well,
I feel like
I have no idea.
Where's she going to pull the money from, Miss Jada? The lovely Miss Jada. Where's she going to pull the money from? Well, she's just going to keep on working overtime. Okay?
What these people decided they were going to do. And so I'm not letting her or them off the hook. So, yeah, y'all got to get in there and figure that part out. And but either way, Jade's right. Your 112 is first. You do not pay on the Parent Plus loans. They at least get to pay the payments until you clear the 112. That's their part of the problem anyway.
yeah, I would agree.
And then after that, if you decide you want to take it on, we'll do that or something. I don't know. You're going to have to make this up as you go because you didn't do it on the front end. This is how people end up not speaking to each other.
That's what I'm saying.
Just like I said, it makes Thanksgiving and Christmas real awkward. It makes birthday presents really awkward. We gave you $112,000 for your college. You were supposed to pay us back. It's now your birthday and you want us to send you $50. We're just going to take that off the tab of your birthday. This stuff should have all been discussed. You know, when I tell you that student loan debt in American society, part of the reason we're in such a screwed up situation is we allow student loan debt to be the one area that we can F up on and everybody still has a party afterwards. You know, called a graduation party. All right? No, nobody had a party when I had my car repossessed. Nobody had a party when I was under heavy shopping addiction. But man, I can run up $100,000 in student loans and we can party like there is no tomorrow. That's what's allowing us to do it. There is a social acceptance. There is a social acceptance. Oh, well, this is just a student loan bill because you're trying to better your future and we don't want to kill your dreams. $250,000 to be a physical therapist. No discussion on who's going to pay what portion. All right? This is why we have that type of problem. If I just came home with a car and I said to my parents, "Oh, Mom, Dad, I just picked up a Mercedes because you know what? I really want a Mercedes." I didn't bother to, do the math, because we've been there, done that, right? Not with the Mercedes, of course, but, I just want the car. I will figure out afterwards if I can even afford the car. Until then, just give me the car that I want.
Saying don't let it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, but I wouldn't let it come between the relationship. I mean, that sucks if she has to be the one to
Well,
carry
yeah.
that.
Well, this is nothing unique. This is nothing unique between parent and child, and the division of money. This is why the only person who should ever co-sign, at least they did one thing right, the only person who should ever co-sign for someone is parent to child. And I will stand firmly by that. That's it. None of this crap of boyfriends signing off on girlfriends, and girlfriends signing off on boyfriends, and boyfriends signing off on ex-girlfriends. Forget all that.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But either way, we just got to work through it. And the 112 is first. You live on beans and rice, rice and beans. No life. No, you don't get to go on vacation. Yes, you take every.
See, that's the thing. And if she does decide to take a vacation, how are her parents going to feel about that? Hey, mom and dad, I'm going to go take a vacation. We're going to go to the beach, and we're going to blow 800. Meanwhile, the parents are busy paying their $1,100 for her student loan.
Every time someone offers you any kind of overtime with your PT, any kind of extra PT jobs anywhere, emergency room, anything you can do that's legal and moral, go do it and make money. No eating out, no vacations. You have made a mess, girl, and you got to clean it up. This is the formula for getting out.
All right. That's the end of the video. All right. Here's the bottom line. This is a perfect example of everything you don't want to do when taking out a loan. It's a perfect example of if you're going to co-sign, well, they didn't co-sign, but the Parent Plus loan, you need to have that conversation before. Anyways, that's it for today. I do feel some weightlifting coming on, so I have to go and do that. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit Chat. I want to sincerely thank you for joining me today. I hope you will consider subscribing and have a beautiful day. Bye.